Now it's 2:30. It's time for Dhamma teaching from 2:30 to 3:30. Today is 16. This is your 5th day. You have 2 days left. Tomorrow and the day after tomorrow. Yesterday we were talking about the noble truths. Remember? 4 noble truths. The first one is suffering. The second one, cause of suffering. And now, this time, I'm going to talk about the third one and the fourth one. The third one is the end of suffering. Or sometimes you use the words quenching. Can you explain to your friend about quenching? What is quenching? Quenching. Pardon? Yeah. Quenching, this means is from heat to cool. You see, calm down. That's quenching. That's the end of suffering. That I have been mentioned about the end of suffering can end in 2 ways. The first, end by nature, and the second, end by your right wisdom. If end by nature, you will build the ignorant habits. If end by right wisdom, and then that's the last time for you of that kind of suffering. So you have to practice your mindfulness, and your mindfulness will step in, and your mindfulness will bring your right wisdom at the right time. So I need one volunteer. Maybe you can go down to take the black picture at the meditation hall down there. Yeah, please.
What picture?
The black one. I carry to the gate that you can see now.
Where is it?
At the meditation hall. The lower one, the lower meditation hall. So, the end of suffering, we call in Pali, Nirodha. Nirodha. Sometimes we use this word like Nirvana. Like Nirvana, the same thing. Because when you end of suffering, that means no more suffering. Nirodha. That means quenching. 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 That means end from the heat and down to the cool. That means no more heat. That's Nirodha, or like Nirvana, the words. I will explain more about Nirvana, because Nirvana is very important word that you should know. Nirvana, that's the highest goal of life of the human, that you want to reach Nirvana. Nirodha means end of suffering, and that's the meaning of Nirodha. So what is Nirodha? What is end of suffering? End of suffering, that means no suffering. What are you going to do with this when you don't have any suffering? That means your suffering end. And then, what are you going to do with the Nirodha? The answer is, you have to observe and realize. Observe and realize. When you don't have suffering, you will see, oh, how comfortable, how free, how light. You will see by yourself. You have to observe and realize when you don't have any suffering in life. You observe. You have to know. And then you will find ways how to keep your no suffering. How to keep that. How to have that. You see, because you have to observe and realize. You have to see. That means you don't want to have any suffering to disturb your life. So you observe and realize it. And then the last question. Have you done it? If you don't do it, you have to do it now. When you are free from suffering or end of suffering. After you get angry with someone, and then when the end of your angry or your anger, and then you observe and realize, how do you feel, how do you like, how do you get that feeling when you live without suffering, when your anger go away. You see, you can see by yourself. And then if you know that when you have anger or you got angry with someone and then just burn you are very uncomfortable, you change your behavior, you don't want to have that, but you have that feeling. And then after the end of the anger, and then you will observe and realize, if you see without anger, if you like it, so you have to find a way how to keep that situation. You see that? That I mean. So you have to learn by yourself. You have to see. You have to love your life living without suffering. Because you will see from yourself. Okay?
What about love?
Right?
What about love?
Love?
Yes.
What is love? Love. Love, it has two kinds of love. You know? Loving from ignorance and loving from right wisdom. See that? If love from right wisdom, you will free from suffering. That love from right wisdom, that love without condition. Yeah, no condition. If love from ignorance, you will have that kind of love with condition. You know? And when you have love with condition, that means you cannot get away from suffering. Yes?
Everyone usually jump to romantic love, but the parent-child relationship. Can you speak a little bit on?
I will not explain further. I will explain only in two ways about ignorance love and right wisdom love. Okay, thank you. You put that. Yeah?
I have a question about the story you were telling this morning.
Yes?
So, did I understand correctly, like after the 9th day of fasting, he then realized he didn't need a woman, so then he was free from suffering. So does that suffer?
I will not explain man or women. I will explain only suffering or non-suffering. Suffering, no sex, no male or female can occur anyone. When you have suffering, that means you have to know that you have suffering. If you have suffering and you don't know, that you have more problems. But if you know that you have suffering, and then you will observe, you see, your own suffering. When you observe, your suffering will stop.
No reproduction.
Pardon?
No reproduction.
No reproduct? Oh, that I said. If that suffering ends by nature of ignorance, that suffering will come again. And if that ends with your right wisdom, maybe that's the last time, because you have your mindfulness to help you. I will explain from this picture.
But why the monk couldn't go?
Pardon?
Why the monk couldn't go for the ladies?
Couldn't go for the ladies.
Yes. Because he was being suffering, or because he was not loving her for true love? I mean, if he loves us from a true love.
You listen to the theories, huh? Only this theory I explain to you.
Yes.
If the monk have the right wisdom, love with the ladies, no problem. In Japan, in Japan, they have some group of monks, they can have family. You see that? They have family, they have child. That depends on the group of the practice. Can you see that? So if the right wisdom, no problem. If from ignorance, that's love with condition, you have suffering.
So love is allowed if it's coming from a good place.
Pardon?
Love is allowed if it's coming from a good place.
Love is alone.
Allowed. It's you can.
If love from instincts, love for reproduction, that means the force from nature. And then you will have problem, but not very much. That's by the basic problem. Because you have to fight by instinct. To fight for what? You want to satisfy your needs also. In animal world, they will fight for the strongest one who will do the duty for reproduction. They will fight. So the strongest one will be the one who is what? The father of all groups. You see that? That's by instinct. That's kind of love from instinct. That's by nature. That's only basic love. And nature will give you what? The reward. The reward. The reward. I study animal science. Do you know animal science? Do you know animal science? Animal science. That's the way when you want reproduction of the pig. So you have to find what? To find the good male pigs that you want to get what? The semen. You know the semen? The semen from the pig. See that? And we build the dummy. You know the dummy? The dummy that we build like a female pig. You see that? And the pig, he doesn't know. That's the dummy. When he stay at the period that we call the period of reproduction. So we put that the male pig, jump to the female, and then we use the tube to what you call the penis of the female pig, the male pig, and then that male pig will release semen, and the male pig very happy at that time. She's very happy like this. He closed his eyes. That's the reward from nature when you release semen. So I will ask you, when man reach the climax. Okay, that's the reward. When man reach the climax, this is normal. Even a child now, they study, they learn, they know everything in internet. You know that? They can learn. This is really normal thing that you can discuss. When male can get what? What did I say? The climax.
I didn't get it. What is the climax?
The climax, when you make the intercourse. You don't know intercourse? Sexual intercourse. Sexual intercourse, you know that?
Yes.
That's the goal of, you say about love, by romantic love. That's the way nature works in that way. Not you. That's the way of nature. Not you. But nature will work in that way. If nature will not give the reward, and the animal will not do the reproduction, because really hard work, It's very hard work. I observed the female dog at Suan Mok. The female dog, when before she got pregnant, she very, in a good shape of the body. But after got pregnant, the female dog changed her body, and then her nipple, her nipple will come down, that prepare for the puppy dogs will sucking, she sacrificed a lot for reproduction. It's very hard work. And this man, human society and animal society different again. You observe, When the female dog have mate, that mate, that means they have sex from male and female dog. When the female got pregnant, the other female want to make love again. She refused. No more. You know that? What happened to the human? Even you got pregnant, you still sleep in bed with the male. You see that's different. And what happened again? When you got pregnant and you sleep with the male, that means your emotion will disturb your child in the womb. So you have to go back to read. It's too late if you wait until the kindergarten. That's Ibuka, that's Japanese guy, write this book. It's too late if you wait until you reach to the kindergarten. That means you have to take care of your child from the beginning. You see that? After you got pregnant, you have to stop to sleep with each other. That no more sexual intercourse, because that you got the prize already. Because that's the final goal of nature. Can you get that? Do you know that? Do you know? So you have to study. You have to study. You have to learn more. You know, sex you can enjoy, but after enjoy, you will have what kind of attachment. You have to think your mind not calm anymore. You observe that. You see that? That's the way of nature. So that's from instinct and ignorance. If sex from right wisdom, no condition. That means you will pay all love forever. I love you, not because of you. Even you kill me, I still love you. You know that. So why Jesus Christ smiled when the Roman put him on the cross? He smiled. That means Christ loved all Romans. He never changed his love to hate, because that love without condition. You know that. And the same thing like Lord Buddha. In his lifetime, one prince tried to kill him, even when he has been a Lord Buddha already. That monk, that prince followed him to be a monk and tried to kill him. And the people came to ask him, how do you feel to this monk? Lord Buddha said, how do I feel to Rahula? You know Rahula? Rahula, that means his son. How do I feel to my son? I feel the same to this man. Can you get that? That love without condition. So I love you not because of you. That's my duty to love. And when I love, the loving feeling in me, not in you. So if you are looking for the lovers, you have to look for the real love in you first. You have to know the love before you know the lover. Okay? That's yes? Understand me? I have been through this world for a long, long time. I have studied a lot about what? Love with condition. Conflicts, aggressive, fighting, so many things. I used to have girlfriend, eight girlfriends in one time. You know that. So, you and I not different. I used to do that. I learned, I have been through that experience. And now, I came back to tell you, that's the way of nature work out for reproduction. So, you have to learn. See that? And the reward, very little. But you have to work very hard. You see? So, you can bring about happiness from sexual intercourse. But after sexual intercourse, how do you feel? You observe after that. You can get the highest happiness when you release your sperm. You know that? So Lord Buddha compared this like dog eat the bone. You know? The dog eat the bone. A bone? You know, bone. Under your flesh. The dog eat the bone. That means there's nothing in the bone, no flesh. But the dog really like to eat the bone. And then the bone that's very, very delicious, is very good because of his enzyme from his mouth only. And you take the what? What do you call? The highest happiness from sexual intercourse, that's I call what? What did they say? I say this word many times. Huh? Climax, yeah. At the climax. You know, the climax from where? From your sperm that release. The same as the enzyme of the dog came out from his mouth after that dog eat what? The bone. Can you see that? Can you see the picture? And you see, dog, normally they really like to eat bone. And so humans really like to have sex. See that? You have to learn and study. So this thing will come to you. You're still young and you will learn it. And then you will know. You don't believe anyone. Okay? So love two kinds. You try to ask me about love. You think that the monk, that's what? The strange people. Because the monk don't do like the normal people. In fact, the monk, they know, they have learned that. You know, sex, not only from men and women. Sex from your mind. Even you eat food, you can see sex in food. Sex, that means 5 senses. You know 5 senses? What is that? 5 senses. Eyes, see? Eyes, sound, smell, taste, and touch. You see? 5 senses. Include just all 5 senses in male and female, both sides. You know that? So, maybe one day we'll talk about sex, and then I will explain to you more clearly than this. Okay, Matthias?
Just ask about love.
Pardon?
I just asked about love.
Okay.
That's what it.
And now, well, I will come back to the Nirodha. Nirodha, that's the end of suffering, or quenching. So, I have to ask you, did you do with it? Have you done it? That means you have to observe and realize when you don't have suffer, when you are free, you feel comfortable, you are free from all suffering. You have to observe and realize. See that? All of you, in your daily life, you will see that you are free from suffering. If you are suffering all the time, you cannot live. You will die. I'll show you. If you are laughing, how long that you can laugh? In 24 hours, how many hours that you can laugh? Laughing. You see that? You laugh 1 hour, you will tired. Right? And you say, oh, laughing, that's very good. It's great. So, they have a group for laughing. And they think that laughing can release your suffering. Even in India, in America, did you hear about that? Laughing. Yes, you can release your suffering. But you solve the problem at the end. Not solve the problem from the beginning. When you release the suffering and the cause of suffering is still there, it's coming again. So you have to laughing to release every day then. See that? So the best way you have to stop the cause of suffering, you see that? Can you get me? And when you're laughing, you have to spend a lot of energy. And you observe laughing and boring and, at the middle, that you are free from all. From laughing and from boring, that means no positive, no negative. You are in the middle. You observe and realize. You will see by yourself. Don't believe anyone. This time for you to study yourself. So you have to know yourself, you see yourself, you make your own way. Okay, messages? Understand me? So, Nirodha, that means the end of suffering, and you have to observe and realize. And then the last question that you have to answer, I have done it. That means you have seen when you are free from suffering, how well, how comfortable. You see that? You have seen that experience by yourself. You have seen it by yourself, by your experience. Okay, the last noble truth, the fourth one, we call Makka or Manka. Makka or Manka in Pali. In Pali means the way or the path. Like you want to go to the market, you have to find the Makka, find the way how to get there. That's the path. So the Makka, that's the way how to get away from suffering. That's what's the way? The way of life, the way of your living. The way of life, the way of your living. It consists of eightfold paths. Eightfold paths. P-A-T-H, paths. It doesn't mean 8 paths, one path, but consists of 8 components. See that? In one path consists of 8 components. That's Makka, the way to get out of suffering. What are they? 1. The right view or right understanding. Number 1. I will explain in more detail after this. Right view, right understanding. The second one, the right thoughts. Right thoughts, right thinking. And then we have to explain more about what way that we have to know that we have the right thought or we have the wrong thought. What is right, what is wrong. See that? The more explanation about that. The third one, right speech. Right speech, that means right talking, right speaking. On the way. The fourth, right right conduct. Right conduct. Conduct. C-O-N-D-U-C-T. Right conduct. Right conduct. That means you don't kill, you don't steal. You see that? That we have the precepts here. That's the right conduct. Don't steal, don't kill, don't make lies. You see? If you make... Yes?
Is feeding the dog the right conduct?
Yes?
Is feeding the dog the right conduct?
I can't understand.
Is feeding the dog the right conduct?
Being...
Beating.
Pardon?
Beating.
Beating.
Yeah.
Why?
Messenger.
Beating.
Yeah.
Beating what?
Feeding a dog the right conduct.
Beating a dog.
You say
Oh.
about killing, but
Only what? Only your manner you can make decision, right or wrong. It depends on you. Why you beat the dog? You beat for what? For what? You beat for teaching or you beat for what? You see that? From your will. Because sometimes the dog, you have to teach it. You refuse my answer. What is your explanation?
I don't think you ever need to be anything.
Pardon?
I don't think think you have to beat anything to learn and stuff.
Oh, that's the wrong way. Because sometimes the dog, you have to teach. The way of teaching. The way of teaching that there are many methods. If you can, some dogs you can talk politely and they can follow you. Some dogs you have to beat a little bit. Some dogs you have to beat a lot. You say, like the human. The human, there are many levels. The human, they are the same but not the same.
Dogs in their own language will bite each other.
Uh-huh. So you don't see the beautiful world like all dogs that no need to beat or nothing to beat anyone. To beat for what? Beat for teaching. You see? It depends on your will to do that. Okay?
Yeah, I don't agree.
Mm-hmm.
But it's okay.
Okay. So, up to you.
Okay. It's not okay, actually. I can't say it's okay. But, if that's your belief, it's fine.
It depends on you. You have to think by yourself.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But if you don't beat anyone, that's good. But sometimes if you beat for what? You see that you have.
I think you beat for discipline or you beat to control something.
Yeah.
I think you said like the dog will, ego will bite you. The dog will bite you if you bite the dog.
Sometimes you want to tame the dog. You see, if you want to tame the dog, taming the dog.
Why do you want to tame the dog?
To tame the dog forward, to be your friend. Up to you. You see?
Sorry, I'm confused.
But no need to be argue about this. You can think by yourself. You make your decision.
I think it's a great discussion though, but I'm sure you want to ignore it. It's fine.
Pardon?
I'm sure you would want to ignore it. You have a tendency to ignore uncomfortable questions.
Not about the time of the question. I'm explaining about the headphone pad. You know that? But you come up with the question at this time, and I really generous to open for you. You know that? And if you want the session Q&A, and then you can ask that. And now, okay, come back. What else? Right conduct. You know about? No stealing, no killing, no. What else? No lying. Some people say, if the white lie, maybe okay, you see. That's the man trying to find a way. You know the white lie? Do you know white lie? White lie. That means you lie, but you will get some benefits from that lie. But Lord Buddha said, white or black, that's lie. So you don't do that. If the people know afterward that you are lying, then the people will not believe you. So the world is going crazy today because of lying. What happened to the newspaper? They lie you. What happened to the TV? They lie you. What happened to the Facebook? They lie you. Some people, they don't call face, they call fake. It's fake book. You see, there's lie everywhere. Do you never lie before? And if you stop lying, and then you will be the person that you are really respectful for the people. When you speak the truth and the useful words that you speak out. Okay? And then, that's the right conduct. And then, what? How many now? 4. The fifth one is right livelihood. Livelihood. That means your job. What kind of job that if you have a choice, you don't choose that kind of job. That's Lord Buddha prohibited 3 kinds of job. that you don't go do that kind of job. Number one, selling armament. Armament, arm, the weapon. Yes. And do you know what? The first income of USA is selling armament. Do you know that? Even Switzerland, that they declare that they are the middle. They are in the middle. They don't want war. They don't want to go left or right side. They are at the middle. Switzerland, they sell a lot of armament each year. Do you know that data? That's kind of what? Your job. If you have a choice to choose, you don't do that kind of job. Selling armament. Number two, selling poison or drugs. If you have choice, you don't do that. You know that? Drug, opium, and what else? And in this island, maybe when you go to the full moon or black moon party, you will see this kind of drug. Marijuana. You know marijuana? Achi, you know achi? Who has been to Nepal? You will know achi. Have you been to Nepal? Have you been there? You know achi? It's like a gum, it's black. Huh? I don't know, it's made from what? From where? From opium? That's achi. Hachi. You see that? So you have to avoid to do that kind of job. And the last one, selling human. If you look back in history, you will see that some group of men, they will sell the human. Especially at near that they sell from the people from Africa. Did you hear about the civil war in America? Because of the workers in the farm that they bought from Africa. Especially the people in the south, they have the workers from Africa that they bought. You see, that the people sell the human. Don't you think now they still have that kind of job? They sell the human. They still have. So, if you avoid to do that kind of job, you have to go away. So that we say about livelihoods, that you don't do that kind of job. About armament, what else? Poison and drugs, and then selling human. So, livelihood, that means you do your job, you do your duty. What is kind of job for the monk? The monk have a job or not?
Teaching Dhamma.
His job of the monk have to practice in Dhamma. He have to follow the precepts of monks. How many precepts for the monks, That you take 8 precepts. The minimum 5 precepts. If the people follow only 5 precepts, what happens to the world? Number one, no killing. Number 2, no stealing. Number 3, no lying. You see? Number 4, no the misconduct. You see, that conduct. And number 5, you don't drink alcohol or liquors or anything that to make your mindfulness bad. You have bad mindfulness because of your drinking. That you cannot control yourself. That we say that out of control. See that? Even 5 precepts, if you follow, the world will run very smoothly. In society, the people will not lie, the people will not kill. You see that? This only the theory, but in practice, the people don't follow. You see that? If the people follow, as I said, even the Old Testament in Christianity, it says, love your neighbor as yourself. If you love your neighbor as yourself, what happened to the world? Only one sentence you follow. You see that? But you never follow. Whom you are following now? Okay, you answer by yourself. See that? So 5 precepts, 8 precepts is for my development, for 8 precepts. And then they will have 10 precepts for the novice. You know novice? The young monk. For the novice, they take 10 precepts. And for the monk, they have 227. See that? If the ladies want to be a monk, she have to have more. 311. 311. That's for the ladies. Because at the beginning, in those days, Lord Buddha won't let the ladies become a monk. But Ananda, the monk, asked Lord Buddha that the ladies can got enlightened or not. Lord Buddha said, yes, lady can got enlightened also. So Ananda requests, so you have to let the ladies to be a monk also. But ladies, it has some weak point, you know. If you are the ladies, you have made a monkhood, and you cannot stay alone in the jungle. Maybe you got raped, that's so very dangerous. But for the man, no problem. See that? That's different. So we are the same, we are equal. Pardon?
Men can also get raped.
Very few. No.
Men can rape.
Yes, can rape also. But the man normally very few story about the man got raped. Very few story. Very few happened very few. But the lady is very easy to get raped, you see. So there are many reasons. You have to study that. I will not argue with you. Because you will have your reason about woman lip. You know woman lip? Manja? What is woman lip? Woman liberation. You see that women and men are equal. So that we have discussed about that very long time ago. I used to be in Canada in 1974 in Regina. You know Regina? In Saskatchewan. You have been in Canada? You have been there? Have you been to Regina? In Saskatchewan. I went to the teacher club and we talked about women liberation. You know that? I said, if the man can get pregnant like what? Like the ladies, We are equal, we are the same. But we are the same but not the same. We are different function. You see, in nature, you have to see that, the function. Man cannot be the best mother like the woman by nature, you see that. You will have so many reasons to explain again, and then never end about this. But you see nature, you don't use your own view. You have to look back to nature. What is nature? Create man and women for what? Okay. And then, what else? Number 6. Number 6, that right effort. Right effort. Number 7, right. What? Pardon? No. Right mindfulness. Mindfulness. Because sati, that means mindfulness, right mindfulness. And the last one is right meditation or right concentration. Right concentration. That's the Eightfold Path. That's the way how to get out of suffering. From 8, the most important is the first one. The first one, that right view or right understanding. You have to have the right understanding. You have the right view with the suffering. You have problem because you think suffering is happiness. You see, that's wrong view. So this thing you have to learn and study from yourself. Which suffering, which happiness? Happiness, at least it has 2 types. Number 1, artificial happiness. You know artificial? Not real. Artificial happiness, that means you have happy feeling, and after that you will go back to suffering again. After you have happiness, and you have to go back to suffering. That's not real happiness. This happiness normally come from material, come from 5 senses, that to stimulate your feeling from outside. And the real happiness come from the state of mind, your state of mind. That means the peaceful mind, you will see. This briefly explanation about happiness. But if you study more until you see the void, you see the illusion, and you will see there's no happiness in the world. Because all things are illusion. All things, you see, void, emptiness, only natural phenomena, things that changing all the time. That's the final answer. No more happiness. If you think happiness is happiness, you cannot get away from suffering. So, this is my 4 Noble Truths in brief. I will review again. Number 1, suffering. Number 2, cause of suffering. Number 3, end of suffering. Number 4, the way how to get out of suffering. In Pali, we call dukkha. Dukkha, that means suffering. Cause of suffering, we call samuhatai. Samuhatai, that means the cause. Samuhatai. And The third one is what? End of suffering. We call Nirodha, and the last one is Magga or Manka. Okay, Dukkha, Samuvathai, Nirodha, and Magga. That's 4 noble truths. And Lord Buddha declared, if I don't know 4 noble truths, I will not declare that I got enlightened. I got enlightened because I know 4 noble truths. And I brought this. I will show you a little bit in brief, about 2 minutes.
What do you refer to Nirvana?
Nirvana? I will explain afterwards. To put on here, maybe the people can see. No, put it the other side.
Where? On top?
Yeah, on here. Yeah. Wait. And make it. Can you see this picture? I would like to show this picture, but I would like you to read your mind. You read inside, not the picture. You read your real feeling in you. You see? You see the wheel? This wheel. This is the wheel. The wheel, that means moving, turning. So, each day of your life, you will turn by this, that depends on your feeling. When you get angry, you are inhale here. See? Inhale. When you want to have something, you want to have greedy, you want to have that thing very much, that you are in the hell also. It's a kind of hell, but different. That's from greed. Greed. P-R-E-E-D. See? When you have done something without wisdom, you use your instinct, like what? Fighting for food, fighting for reproduction, fighting for your territory, fighting for your living. You are in the world of animals. At that mood, at that moment, you observe yourself. And when you are very excited, you go to the full moon party, you dancing all night, you are in the heaven. In the heaven. But in the morning, what happened? In the morning, you hang over to come down here. You go back to hell. You know hangover? After you go to the table at the night time, you dance the whole night. You never know that night passed by very fast. But in the morning, you back to hell. See that? It's moving like this all the time. When you think about your career, you have to work. Work for what? For money. Work for money. Money to change your clothing, your traveling, your communication, your what? Your housing, your medicine. That you are in the world of human. In the world of human. So you think about your profession, your career. Because you work for living. It's moving like this all the time. So sometimes, how many times that you have this kind of feeling? How many times did you get angry today? How many times did you get bored? How many times that's not satisfying your needs? You are here, in the hell. Nobody can put you in the hell. You are the one. You will be in the hell by yourself. And this hell, not the next life, here and now. You see that? It's real hell. So, here, the way that you have to get suffering, it has 12 steps. You know, the outside view, this one, is moving, but it's very fast. This one becomes ignorance, and then this, what you call, formation. That's you're thinking, and here we call consciousness, and here the form ignorance creates your thinking, that you think so many stories. You think, but you never end in each day. And you think because of ignorance, you don't know. If you know, no need to think. You think the thing that you want to think. But you think so many things because of ignorance. Ignorance creates this, and then you will feel that you have your conscience. Conscience comes from where? Ignorance. So this all activity is influenced from ignorance. So here is because what? Because of conscience, and you will have Namarupang, that means my body. You have my body now. My body from where? From ignorance. You don't know yourself. You're feeling as your my body. From my body, in your my body, that means your life, you have what? 6 senses. 6 senses, dual. What else? What are they? 6 senses dual, what are they? Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. The 6 senses dual. Yeah. And we contact with 6 senses object. See that? This one. And then when contact here, when you have 6 senses dual, now you look at now. Your eye contact with me. Your ear contact with with the sound from my talking. You see? How do you feel? When you have contact here, they draw the picture as what? Man and woman embedded together. Man and woman. Contact. When you have contact, this contact from where? Ignorance. So when you have contact, after contact you have what? Feeling. They draw the picture as a person who has 2 arrows through your eye. The 2 arrows. What hit your eye? You see that? 2 arrows. Number 1 that hit your body. Number 2 hit your mind. Both. That's the feeling. Both mind and body. See that? Okay? So, after this, when you have feeling, if feeling good, craving, C-R-A-V-I-N-G, you have craving. Craving, they draw a picture like a man who is drinking liquor or drinking some alcohol or beer, something like that. See that? If you're feeling good, what is your craving? Your craving, you want to have. If you're feeling bad, you want to go away. That's your craving. See that? And then you have craving, and then you have what? Attachment. Yeah. So from attachment and then becoming. They draw the picture as a lady got pregnant. That means the ego is coming up, got pregnant. And then now, born. Is what born? Not your body born. Your ego born. You born. Who? You. When you have you, and then you will worry about your aging, about your death, about your sickness. You see, you have problems because you have you. That's ego. From ego. This at the end. So this will step, but it happens very fast. But it's only slow motion. So the practical part I would like to show you. When you have to look at the contact. The contact. Now your eyes contact with me. Your ears contact with my talking. When you have contact, if contact with ignorance will create feeling. Feeling will create craving. Craving will create attachment. You see that ego will come and you will get suffering. So when you have contact, your practice for your mindfulness, you have to stop here. Your mindfulness, that means you know that you have contact now. And that contact happens and go. You look at me, you close your eyes, my picture disappears. See that? That you see this contact with right wisdom. So you will not create positive or negative feelings. See that? You have contact, you know the information. What's that? What are you going to do with that person? Only. No positive or negative feelings. You can free. You can have calm, clean and clear mind. Deeply.
Is this the samsara? The name? Samsara?
No. This, we call on this, we call dependent origination. Dependent origination. Did you hear that? Dependent origination. Origin. Dependent origination. That means it depends. If when we have this, then you will have this. If you don't have this, you don't have this. You see this is follow like this. Depends. See that? This the way of suffering. How to get suffering. Here, in you, you start from here, contact. When your eyes, your ears, you see, contact. When you have contact, when you see things, so why I talk to you when you walk down to the market every morning. You control your mind, you control your eyes, you control your ears, and then you just watch at one point. That means you can control your contact, you can control your mindfulness at that time. If you go like this, then it's very hard to control. See that? When you control that, other things will not disturb you at all. Meaningless for you. It's all of you. See that? You can observe that. This is the way. So, the most important thing is that contact. You remember this contact. Now you have contact and you cannot get away from contact. But you can get away from ignorance. When contact, you have contact with mindfulness. If you contact without mindfulness, you will contact with ignorance. If you contact with mindfulness, and you will have right wisdom come. If you don't have contact with mindfulness, you will contact with ignorance. You will create problems. That means you have the feeling like this, and you don't know. Why you don't know? Because you have that habit for a long, long time. You never know that you are suffering, that you are in suffering process. You know that you have it every day. Like they say, the fish in the water, the fish never see the water. Why? Fish were born in the water. The fish live in the water, and fish die in the water. So the fish never see the water. So man, born by suffering, live in suffering, and die with suffering. Man never see suffering. So how to make the fish see the water? You have to take the fish out of the water. And then the fish will see, oh, that's water, that's the land. You see that? If you are in the jungle, you never see the jungle. When you get out of the jungle, you see, oh, that's the jungle. You see that? You are in angry mood. You never know that you got angry at that time. When you get out of the anger, you will see, oh, that's the anger. When you see someone get angry, you see, oh, that person, they got angry. But if you got angry, you never see yourself. See that? This is the way. So, you have to beware when you have contact with your mindfulness on the time. You cannot get away from contact, but have contact with mindfulness and right wisdom, no problem. That means, if you have problem, that means you are with ignorance. That means you are with the stupid life. So when you have problem, you have to say to yourself, oh, I am very stupid. Can you get that? Not the other, you yourself always. You are in the world, you never see the world. You have to get out of the world and then you can see the world, right? Right, so John Gray. Huh? What is his name? Who to see the moon, to step on the moon, the first man?
Neil Armstrong.
Neil Armstrong. Neil Armstrong. That he is the one who can see the world because he gets out of the world and he looks back. Oh, that's the world. You see that? And he said, the last building of the man on the globe is the Great Wall of China, that you can see from the outside globe. So that's the globe, not the world. Okay?
Can I ask what is the intention?
Where? Yeah? This one. This one? This means what? This is very good question. This one is what? Your real mind. The origin mind. The origin mind is really pure, by nature. So, they will say that when you have fertilization in your womb of your mother, you still virgin, really pure at that time. Because you don't have what? To perceive anything by your eyes, your ears, nothing. So, in Christianity, why they use the word innocent? You're innocent. Innocent, that means is clean, clear by nature. Clean, clear, and calm by nature. But after that, you have ignorance, and then you have problem, and then you have to develop yourself, and then you have clean, clear, and calm by wisdom. So wisdom, you know really the truth. You can talk to the people, but the innocent, you don't know the language, you don't know anything. So that's different. So you have the same mind, but different. Can see that? So the origin of your mind, all of your mind is pure and clean. So when you look to the people, you look at the origin mind, and you will see all of you clean, clear, and calm. But because of ignorance, make you suffer, make you dirty. Like water. Water is what? It's clean. The real water is clean. When you put color in the water, you can see the color water. The color and water not the same, but the color in the water also. The smell in the water is it has, but real water is clean. So your mind is clean. Like they compare about what? The sun. The sun. The sun has what? The rays to shine out. Even the clouds to cover the sun. But the sun still has the ray and can shine out. But at that time because of the cloud. So your real mind still good, still clean because of ignorance. You know that? So you are different from the other. In fact, we are all the same. So please go back to your origin, and then we are the same. Okay? We are the same. We are not different. Even your belief, your religion, you can give that some after you were born. You have learned from many things, from the book, from the people, from environment, and then you have so many reasons to talk, to discuss, you know. But in fact, if you go back to this, we are the same, nothing different. Okay, thank you very much. This is the time is up, and then tomorrow we will talk about it more. Thank you. And I think from now you will have more comfortable because we have electricity now. We try very hard because I cannot stand without electricity. It's very hard. Last time we tried to overcome the problems and we came through. Thank you and thank you. Thank you. Prepare yourself.
Anjali Wandara Abhivam. Anjali Wandara Abhivam. Anjali Wandara Abhivam. Anjali.
Thank you. You pay respect, I don't gain any ego at all. That you do for yourself, that you want to get away from your egoism. Do for yourself, not for me. All of you check your name and email already? Okay. You take this chicken to leave over. Put it back. Ouch.